Are you having a lot of anxiety around puberty? We're going to talk all about it. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a child therapist and I make videos for kids with anxiety or OCD. Today I want to talk about something that nobody wants to talk about, but every single person has to go through, and that is puberty. You know, those kind of hormonal changes that happen when you hit a certain age. Well, for most kids, it's a bit of an uncomfortable time because nobody likes to have their body changed, their voice change, or things happen to them that they have no control over. But when you have anxiety or OCD, your anxiety or OCD will glom onto that and will make it that much harder. And that's for a couple of different reasons. One, a lot of people with anxiety have a hard time with change in general. So when your entire body is changing and a lot of it is unpredictable, you don't know when it's going to happen or where it's going to happen, that can be pretty anxiety producing. And OCD just loves anything that's uncomfortable. So if you have OCD on top of it or just OCD in general, it will definitely find some upsetting thoughts to provide to you that will be hormone and puberty related. So let's just talk about it in general. For starters, the more you try to fight the fact that your body's changing, the more anxious you're going to become, and your body's not going to stop changing. And so it is much better to embrace the changes. And I know you're like, oh my gosh, Natasha, there's just no way. Well, if you try to hide your body in huge clothes and you get really worried that someone might see that you're developing, you're going to feel super anxious. But if you recognize that, you know what, this is happening to everybody else, maybe at different levels and maybe at different speeds, but every single person around you is going to go through puberty. And so this is not some hidden secret that you have, some hidden problem that is just yours. This is something that is universal and happens to every single kid in your class. So look around the school. You're not the only one. You know, everybody's developing, their bodies are changing, and things are happening to them under their clothes as well. So what can you do about the anxiety? Educate yourself. Don't just be a victim to puberty. Know what's going to be happening. Now you might say, I already know. I know everything that's going to be happening. Trust me, there are probably things that you don't know are very normal. So talk to your parent, you know, whichever parent you feel the most close to, or get a book on it if you feel awkward talking to them. Don't feel awkward reading a book. You need this information because the more you fully understand all the different things that are going to happen with your body and why they happen and when they might happen, it's going to help you feel like you have a plan. Secondly, if you're a girl, boys, you can close your ears, you know, you're not the only one who has a period. And so prepare. Now there are lots of things that can help you feel less stressed as far as not being surprised. There's special underwear. I'll leave a link. There's things that you can do so that you don't feel overwhelmed. But trust me, you're not the only person that's having that. So you want to realize that anxiety will make it about you. You know, that, oh my gosh, you went to the bathroom and you brought your purse, or oh my gosh, you know, you're wearing a sweater around your waist, what's going on? Or what if you have an accident? Or what if something happens? You don't think every single girl thinks that? Every single girl worries about that stuff. And for boys, you got your worries too. We won't go into it in this YouTube video, but there are things that you can talk about with your parents that maybe you don't think are normal, that are very normal, and just a part of puberty and part of what is supposed to be happening with your body. So when we fight what is happening to us, we become miserable. When we embrace it and recognize that there are beautiful things that are happening to our body, that we are turning into young adults, beautiful young adults, and our bodies are blossoming. I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true that it can be a wonderful thing. So even though you might feel overwhelmed with pimples that are popping up on your face that you can't control, that's normal. It's not because you're just turning into an ugly duckling. It's because you have a lot of hormones running through your body, and that's going to create some pimples. You're not alone on that either. Some people wear really good makeup, or they, you know, have things that they do, but most kids are going to walk around with some pimples when they're going through puberty. It's not going to last forever. You're going to have a beautiful complexion when you're older, but you know, puberty years, they're kind of pimply. And that's going to be okay. So when we focus on our flaws, we become miserable, we become sad, we become overwhelmed with the changes that are inevitably going to happen. But when we look for the highlights, the good things that we're liking, maybe the shape that we're becoming, when we embrace some of the positives or we search for some of the positives, that can really help. And when we recognize, we stop focusing on this and we look out here, we're going to see that everybody is in the exact same boat. The other thing that starts to happen is some people are worried about growing up. They don't want to grow up. And so the sign of puberty also brings an added stress of, this means that I'm going to be an adult soon. I don't want to be an adult. And so this is very, very nerve-wracking. You want to ask yourself, what's the hardest part about being an adult? Maybe there are some lies or stories you're telling yourself about adulthood that are not true. I have had kids tell me, I don't want to grow up to be an adult. And I'll say, you know what? Being an adult has been the best thing. I really prefer being an adult to being a child because nobody tells me what to do as much. I can do what I want. If I don't like something, I can find a way to leave it. If I don't like my job, I can look for another job. You can't look for another school necessarily. It's not your call. There's so much more freedom and flexibility as an adult. And so maybe you need to look at what about being an adult is scary for you, and then talk to a therapist if you have one, a friend, or your parent about how to reframe that, how to change that and flip it. Maybe there are some good things that you're overlooking. Wouldn't it be cool to decorate your own house or your own apartment? There are so many awesome things about being an adult. And if you only tell yourself all the bad things that are happening, then you're going to feel really scared about being an adult. So careful about the stories you're telling yourself. And listen to what you're telling yourself about puberty, about change, and about adulthood. And you want to flip it and look at the alternative. Even if it doesn't feel natural or genuine or authentic or real, the more you tell yourself these positive things, the more they compete with the negative, and the more things look a little bit more optimistic and bright. So I hope that you find the sparkle in everything you do and in your new body. And I will talk to you again next Thursday. Take care.